Hey kids, it's your good buddy Mark Miller here. Turn on the Coders music. Got Rory on the phone with me.
Yep, I am here.
Skype call. I don't know if I can say phone anymore. It's really kind of an old-fashioned word now.
It is a bit, yeah.
That's right. Isn't that right, Fred? That's like, yeah. Just don't do that anymore. Who's the man, Fred? That's right. You're the man. Okay. That's enough of that. So today we're going to work on targeting.
Okay.
That's what we're going to work on. We've been doing this for a while, but I'm refining it. I want to do a couple things. I want to be able to target a bunch of friendlies, target friendlies, target neutrals, that sort of thing inside of a volume. So
sure.
I'm going to come in here to the targeting piece. I'm going to go into my sphere button right here, hit that. Turn on the sphere, then I'm going to move it. Then I want to hit one of these buttons here to, either target everybody in the volume or target only enemies, friendlies, or neutrals. Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to start
Sounds
there.
Good.
And then if we get that done quickly, we're going to go on to, we're going to start working on spells, like the first major step in making spells, attaching spells to these guys, which will be in the form of like maybe giving magic, or I've got an effect that lasts for a while. As long as the effect's on, we'll see the effect, and then when the spell ends, we'll see that disappear. That's kind of what we're looking to do. All right?
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay, so let's test let's make sure that my switch to TaleSpire view works. It does. That's TaleSpire on the second machine. I slightly revised the targeting. I'll show you what it looks like now. It's not too bad. Turn on targeting here, and now when I target the creature, I see. Check it out. I got the little smoke effect I was telling you I wanted to get around the edges there. So there's the smoke effect. Ignore that other creature. It just happens to be another creature nearby this one. But I got the smoke effect. Right now, targeting is only in the form of the red target. But what I want to do is get a sense of, hey, who we targeting? Are they friendly or are they foe, or are they neutral? And based on that, choose a different asset for which one of those three that we're going to do. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
So we need, in order to make this work, we need to, hold on a second. Let me not target me, because I just noticed I put that target right there. Let's get rid of that. Good. Let's see. What was I going to say? Something about targeting. Was this too high over there? Yeah, a little too high. A little bit of adjustment here because I switched the asset up. The heights were not quite right, so I'm going to have to move. Double check those. But I'm not going to worry about that for now. Oh, I know. Okay, so we know that all the players are always friendly.
Yes.
That's always the case. So the players, if I target a player, we need the player to want to look friendly. We also have these characters that come across the top right here, like this. And if they have a blue background, they're friendly. And if they have a red background, they're bad. And if they have something in between, let's see if I can guess with a 23. Is it 23? No. Friendly. 21? No. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, hoping I'm going to hit somebody who's All right, let's open up the page. We'll open up the page. Let me switch back over to my screen right here. Here's our list right here, and if we go down this column shows whether we're neutral or not. Looks like 13, Jesse Bushwhacker, is neutral. Fine, we're going to do 13. So we'll hit 13 up there to bring up 13. We'll get rid of 19, and there you go. So there is kind of the variation of the characters. The real pigeon, Pygon? Probably Pygon. The real Pygon is following. Thanks for that follow, Pygon.
So, Mark, I have a question regarding this sort of neutral, friendly, and what have you. This is always with respect to our party of heroes, is it? And it's a
Yes.
static fact. So
Yes.
a person won't switch from being bad to good or vice versa.
No, they can switch. So,
Okay.
So for example, I could come in and say, let's find Apollo here. Oops, wrong. There we go. So Apollo is here. We could take him from, give him the question mark right there, meaning he's not sure if he's an enemy or not. Then I can go into my save load button and reload, and now Apollo should turn green. Right there, yeah.
Cool.
So
Okay.
he just did that. So I don't know if you can tell the difference. Can you tell the difference between 2 and 3 in terms of background color?
Yes, that's quite clear in my case. Yep.
Excellent.
I was. I guess the real question was that it is definitely from the perspective of our heroes. So
It is.
the presumption is it's one of our heroes who will be doing the targeting, and thus these are enemies, and these are neutrals, and these are my friends. Is
No,
there any
sometimes-
chance you'll be using
Sometimes
this from the perspective of a bad guy?
Sometimes the bad guy will do targeting too, but we won't change any of this. It'll
So this is
always
not
be
relative to him, it's relative for us, the viewers and the party,
Right.
and we are the good guys, and thus
Yes.
it's from our perspective. That's
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Hector's out
Okay,
there.
then.
Hector HSC is out there. Thanks,
Hey,
Python,
Hector.
for the clarification. Good. Yeah, so yes, it's always, yeah, I decided that is an actual decision I made because it wasn't working for me that we would switch things around and now all of a sudden colors would switch. Instead, what I wanted to do is I wanted to say, okay, you know what? Blue means it's on the team of the heroes, the main player team.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that's what's going on there. So let's switch back to friendly, and I'll hit the reload button there. So we'll get Apollo back on, team blue. Okay, now on my Stream Deck, I've got these 3 buttons when I'm on this page here. Load NPCs, save out their hit points, and bring up the in-game creature spreadsheet, which is right here. Okay, so those are the 3 things I've got on my Stream Deck. So when I hit this button, this is, and maybe I should take a step back. I always dive into the middle, like of the juicy pie, and I don't tell people what we're eating. So
Okay.
let's take a step back. The challenge here is that we're communicating with another piece of software on another machine. That piece of software is not privy to all of this data. And it's not, there's no events coming back to it. It's all, we're going out to it and we're saying, hey, do this thing, and then we're going to wait for a response. And that's it. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to for it to ask, when targeting occurs, targeting is happening remotely on that machine. Let me go switch over to that machine. So when I come over and when I engage targeting and I say, let's switch the target, I send a command over to switch the target. But at this point, I don't know where this thing is. It could be near a friendly or near a foe. So what that means is the TaleSpire plugin is going to need to have a list of friendlies and foes.
Yes.
Okay? So in order to get that list, what we need to do, I got to do a couple things at once here. I got to switch back to machine 1. But to get that list, we need to go intercept the update on-screen creatures command. When that thing hits, we're going to reload from the spreadsheet. When we reload, we're going to make note of who's good and who's bad, and we're going to send over a list to TaleSpire plugin. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to do. So that's the work we're going to do today. And with that said, I think we're going to jump into the code. I think I'm going to hide all of these guys for now so we can see more on screen. So we'll get rid of all those guys.
Sure, yeah.
So far, by the way, in the process of hooking up TaleSpire to our D&D engine, by the way, we have, although there have been times that it's been like tough and slow because we can't step through the code in the plugin.
Sure.
We just haven't solved that problem yet. What has been very cool is once we got something working, all of a sudden things work really, really well with the engine. So
Yes.
So that experience I'm really liking. It's like we finally get something to work and we're like, okay, we got it. And then Oh, it just works with like everything. And that's what we're hoping to kind of get with this as well.
It's quite nice because it's like the pain point is working out a hole in the API, a use of the API. Right. But then when you've got that, it's like a big expanse that you can peer through. There's a lot of gain from each nugget that we get.
Yeah, and it's kind of, we're finding that kind of multiplication effect, right? Where we're stacking up a bunch of things we know here and another set of things across another dimension. And every time we add a new skill here or a new kind of category we can modify, we kind of get this multiplication, new set of power that's coming up here. That's weird. I just did a search for update on-screen creatures, which is that command. Well, target command. I just did a search for it, couldn't find it. I'm going to just grab target command. I know target commands out here. I'm going to practically navigate to the file. Thought it would just be faster if I did this. Look at this. What is going on? Am I just in the wrong? Oh, I'm in the wrong project. Okay, that could make a big difference. The wrong solution. Okay.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. This one will work better. In fact, the other search term will work better too. That's kind of where I think we'll want to start. Target command. Got some good music. Here we go. What is it? Update. Something update. Update all in-game creatures. Update on-screen creatures. Is that it? That's it. Right there. Boom. Okay. By the way, when I rebuild my new studio, I'm going to figure out a way to get the camera further away so I don't get cropped like that. See that?
Right, yeah.
Further away, but my screen's somehow close. I haven't quite figured that out. I've got a couple ideas. Silvered mirror, 50% transparent, 50% opaque. Stick that at a 45-degree angle right in front of my monitor. Put my camera off to the side so it goes shoots through it and comes back at me. That's a way to do it. So what I want to be able to do is be able to point anywhere on the screen. Is what I want to be able to do, because I really like being able to say it's there, right there. I feel like that sends a good strong signal across.
That's good, yeah.
Okay, I've also thought about giant monitors far away, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to make it work yet. Update on-screen creatures. So here we go. All in-game creatures.invalidate, add creatures to game. Let's look at that. What's that going on there? We're just going through all of them, adding to the game. Okay. That's kind of cool. Yep. All right. Well, I kind of want to say, all right, I want to create my own method to this that does this. Add creatures game, restore target data, update in-game creatures. This, when I have the words in-game, what that means is go down to the browser layers. So we're doing things like drawing the creatures across the front, right up there.
Right, okay.
Now what I need to do is something like this. Send TaleSpire. Enemy lists. Like, what side are you on? Tell TaleSpire I'm trying to think of a short way to say this. Enemy friendly.
Is this like alignment?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah. It's not really. The problem is
it's not quite, is it? There's another use for that.
Yeah. Who's on what side? Is what I want to say.
Yes, it's the simplest one, isn't it?
Tell TaleSpire who's on what side. Fine. Tell TaleSpire who is on what side. Can't do contractions in coding. Tell TaleSpire who is on what side. And we'll do that. Wider lens, the bigger the green screen. Yeah. Bigger the green screen, yes. Also, first time I've seen TaleSpire. Very cool. Does it allow third-party models? Yes, it does. Or is it a locked-in system?
When you say allow, you have to be a little inventive to get them in there, but sure, it totally works.
This is my own custom model, this guy right here. That guy's my own custom model. There are different ways to do it. People have talked about it. You can essentially hack in. There's a great plugin written by a great developer out there called Lord Ashes, who has created a CMP mini plugin. He's maintaining it like crazy. I would take a look at that. CMP mini. That's what it is. In fact, let's look that up. We'll switch back over here, bring it up, and we'll go take a look and give you a link to it. But yeah, they are going to open it up more. CMP Mini, Lord Ashes. Let's see what that gets me. Maybe do that. That would be it. Right here. This is it. So I've only been following his updates. I'll put that out in the chat room for you. Pygon. There you go. I've only been following his updates. And I've not actually installed it yet. But he's doing all kinds of things with regards to extending it. There's an example of it right there. And he's got great documentation. The guy's an attentive developer. He's like, he's working, he sees a problem, he works to fix it. Very cool. Now I just need friends. Yeah, no, I know. You and me both. We saw
the thing that none of us can code properly is the friends.
I know. We saw a movie, like there's a movie and they're like, I don't know. Every time we see a movie about people with friends in it, I'm like, they have more friends in that room than I've had in my entire life. I just want to point. The autism makes it so I'm not like, you know what I mean? I don't like, everybody else wants to go hang out at the bar, I think, or the pub. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing, or play poker or do whatever. So, anyway, that's, all right. So here we go. We are over here, and we're going to extract this method. I want to pick up and put it at the bottom of the file. I like anything I work on, I like to sit down at the bottom of the file. So tell TaleSpire who is on what side. So we need to go into all in-game creatures, I think. Dot creatures. We need to do a for each on that right there. And in-game creature alignment, that's not what we want. I think there's like an is ally, is enemy. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So, next, I want to... There's a to-do I got to do. It's not in here, it's in another place, but the to-do goes like this. I don't have TaleSpire IDs for everybody. So like Jessie Bushwhacker doesn't have a TaleSpire ID. I've got to bind her, right?
Yep.
After binding a character to a TS ID, TS stands for TaleSpire, ID is just the identifier for it. It's a GUID. After binding a character to it, call this method again.
Yes, refresh creatures essentially.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to create I need to think about the data I want to send down, and I think the data I want to send down is simply a list of strings, and each of the strings is an ID. It's a TaleSpire ID. So I'm going to have three calls. I'm going to create a call that's basically like set allies, like that. Maybe just two calls. Set allies, set enemies. And anyone else is going to be a neutral.
Okay.
Or maybe better to say set neutrals. Those are my two options, and anyone else is an enemy. So if I don't have anything specified, it'll be a red target on them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're good with that? Okay. Set allies, set neutrals. All right, am I actually calling this? It looks like, wait. I just hit tab for tab to next reference. I thought I was calling this. Why is this tab to next reference not working? Tab to next reference works from there, but not from here. Something wrong with this code just because of this? That can't be true. All right, let's report an issue. We're dogfooding Code Rush, kids. We see an issue, we're like, hey, what's going on? I'm trying to do tab to next reference, and look. That's what's going on. Every time I hit tab, it's just doing this. What's interesting is if I come back here to where I started and I hit tab to next reference, it finds it. And I can go back and forth. Code compiles, I believe. Let's...
You've got a call to in-game creature is ally, which is not a complete statement. 11388.
That's it. Thanks, Rory. Thanks. Hold on, that's good. That over there. Let's come back over here. That's got to be the bug. Yeah, sometimes if that's my problem. I bet that's it. There you go. Okay, my bad. Sorry, devs. We won't.
That's all right. They'll never know.
They'll never know.
We won't send it to them.
Okay, so we want to basically come down. We want to say, hey, look, if his creature is ally, then we want to have let's do this, a new list of strings, which are going to be our allies, and we're going to have a new list of strings, which we're going to call our neutrals, like that. So if we're an ally, we're going to add to it, and we're going to say in-game creature dot. Take note, kids, the advantages of paired programming. There you go. That's exactly right. And that's why Rory's here, right? I don't know if
yeah, that's the theory.
I don't know if you've heard this about Rory or not, but he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's all right.
Awesome contribution. The part where you said he's all right? That was awesome. Okay, and ID. We need the ID. What is it? TaleSpire ID. We basically need it. Hey, this thing's not empty. We want a not in front of here. Not.
Yes.
I've got a coder's feature request. Coder's feature request goes like this.
If it's to do with that code, Mark, maybe put some carrier returns in and bring it up so it's a little higher than you.
There you go. Good.
There we go.
All right, devs. This is a feature request for CodeRush. Yeah, I think it'll work. Okay, here's how it goes. I want to hit a hotkey. My hotkey is going to be... really? I mean, it's been a bit since I crashed into an iceberg. Busy since Frankfurt. I'm talking to the devs. I'm in the middle of a feature request here, man. Don't do that. Come on.
So Mark's main request is he'd like a cup for some of that ice coming off the iceberg.
Get a little bit of that. Still a little bit floating around down here. Hey, Frankfurt, welcome. It's not a very hot key. It's not a very hot key with all that ice. Okay, it's not a hot key. Okay, great. Fair. All right, I'm going to hit just to save the devs, I'm going to hit the CoderSush Issue Start button again so they don't see all that. All right, devs, here's the feature request. I'm inside an expression. I'm going to hit a hotkey. The hotkey is going to be our secret modifier key for the feature we haven't released yet, plus the bang symbol. Or maybe the 1, probably. Well, I guess that depends on where it is. You know, whatever key has the exclamation mark on it. Okay? And I'm here. What it does is it goes out to find the first Boolean expression. So it goes out. Is that one? No, it's a string. It goes out again. Oh, is that one? Yes, it's a Boolean expression. Then what it does is if it doesn't have a not symbol in front of it, it adds one. If it does, it takes it away, like that. And I think it moves the caret as well, right to that space. It does. So the caret gets moved right there as well. So it does that. Okay? So I just hit
Mark,
that. Yep.
What's the basis of moving the caret there? I'm curious, because if you're in another expression, do you potentially want it to toggle this negation, but stay where you are? Because you're saving the user the hassle of going to that location to put the exclamation mark there.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. I'm typically like here when I've done the work, and I need to change it, but now I got to move over there, and I'm like, oh, moving is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 keys, right, to hit there. What I want to do is I just want to get there. I want to change it is what I want to do.
Agreed. But I'm wondering if you might want to go on and put an additional clause in what you're doing, which is not going to be negated. So you want to negate the one you talked about, then continue to the right, doing more things.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think if I'm at that point, going to the right is generally easy. It's just an end and left arrow key like that. So
That's
not
a fair
to worry
point.
about that.
Okay.
The advantage of moving it is that it also, if it was like say off screen, it now becomes on screen because the caret's there, right?
Yes.
And I see the change, and in the flash, it gets my attention that it's just made that change. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So that's the feature request. I want to be able to invert Boolean. Basically, it's inverting the outermost or the innermost. Invert the the closest Boolean expression around the caret is what I wanted to do. Okay, that's the feature request. And there you go, devs. Welcome, Frackberg. You don't have to say sorry, man. You don't have to say sorry. How you doing, Frackberg? Welcome. Glad to have you hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
Rory, you want to tell them what we're doing while I take a sip of it?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go and put the exclamation mark back in the expression that Mark's now put back in and replaced and removed a few times, because what he did want is for that to be negated. But what we're doing is we're slicing and dicing the set of all creatures into those which are both allies, enemies, and neutral. We're actually only going to store the allies and neutrals and deduce that everything else is an enemy. And we're going to send this information to TaleSpire, I believe, so that when we do various targeting logics, it will have a record of that information so that we can put the right kind of target on the right kind of entity.
That's exactly what we're doing. Thanks, Roy. Great explanation. It was me trying to hit the mute button, and then I thought I was done with my burp, and then I hit mute, unmute, and you got an earful. Sorry about that, kids. All right, I want to do this. This check right here says essentially, is it a valid TaleSpire ID? Do I have something there? I want to ask that question first. Then I want to come down here and I want to say, hey, if we're an ally, then we're going to add the creature to the ally. We're going to add in that TaleSpire ID to that list. Okay. If not, else we're going to say basically something similar. If we are not an enemy, then we're going to add it to the neutrals list. Okay, cool. Now we have two lists. Next, we're going to say TaleSpire client dot send allies. And we're going to pass over the allies list. And then we're going to also do send neutrals. Lassimat! I haven't seen Lassimat in a while. I forgot how awesome that intro was. Lassimat.
Welcome, Lassimat.
What's TaleSpire?
There's a question. What is TaleSpire?
TaleSpire is an app for playing D&D. This is what it kind of looks like out here. It's basically got some minis in here. I've got I've got targeting turned on. Let me just turn targeting off, and then we can kind of show you. We kind of move these guys around like this. That's kind of what's going on right there. I'm adding a mod to it right here that allows us to target creatures. And that's kind of it. You can do different levels. The levels look way better than what I've got over here. And this kind of a thing. You can also lower your cutoff point so you can look into buildings and kind of go down levels, things like that.
Yeah, go ahead, Real Pygon. That's the sort of thing that could be useful. This is indeed a product on Steam at the moment. I think it's still early access. And essentially it's a big visual aid for playing of D&D. So you can imagine that rather than being all in the same room with a tabletop out in front of you, maybe you can't reach each other, you're across the country or whatever. So you can use this and the Dungeon Master can lay forth the situation for you in a very much visual way. Yeah. It's quite a clever little bit of code.
Yeah, it's super cool. And so there's lots of things that you can, right here, this is my test level. But there's lots of things that you can do and add to the game. I'm basically using this for testing spell effects, targeting, things like that. That's this area here. I've dropped a bunch of lights here as well into this space so it looks good at night, or so at least there's some illumination at night. And so we're basically right now we're working on the targeting aspect, and I want to be able to visually indicate friendlies or foes with color. And so I'm using red to indicate bad guys and blue to indicate not bad guys, and then green to indicate neutrals. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. Rory's colorblind. He'll be able to test our UI and he'll be able to say, can we distinguish those, yes or no? And I'll, probably have to go back and redesign after we're done. Slave creations.
Wow.
Target. Boom, boom, boom.
All the cool folks are coming in today.
Yeah, all the cool folks are coming in today. Yeah, so targeting, yeah, that's, and we talked about this too. We've got this great idea for a a feature to add to the TaleSpire, which is traps. We want to set up traditional kinds of traps, like you see in an adventure movie, like the rolling Indiana Jones ball, you know, or you step on a thing and, you know, something opens up or explodes or something like that. That's what we want to do. All right, so back to the code. We're trying to make this all work. In order to do this, we need to send TaleSpire, our TaleSpire plugin, a list of allies and a list of neutrals. That's what we need to do. So I'm going to declare this. And let's declare the other one as well. Whoops, no, that was the worst ever. Okay. I chose the wrong one.
Yeah.
Rename allies to neutrals. Why? Stop that. We already talked about that. Okay. Now, we need to do a call to invoke. So we're going to say invoke. I want to call it register allies, I think is what I'm going to change it to register allies. Like that. We'll change this to register as well. Same thing down here. Okay. And then over here, we want something kind of like, oh, no, we don't. We want to just do allies.toArray. Like that. Okay.
I'm trying to imagine how this is going to be used, Mark, because let's say there are 9 creatures in existence. 3 are friends, 3 are foes, and 3 are neutrals. That's the sort of expected scenario. We're going to send an instruction to register 3 allies, presumably then register 3 neutrals.
Yeah.
And at some point during, well, after that has happened, we can also deduce that the remaining 3 are enemies.
Yeah.
But we're sending those 2 commands in a vacuum. We might just send allies. So as a result of sending allies, there's sort of finalization code that goes and says what, I guess, is the question. Because it can't just say, oh, and everybody else is an enemy, because it's yet to receive the neutrals.
No, it doesn't. It's just going to keep them in a list. And then when I click on one of the guys out there, it's going to say, it's going to ask, which list are you in? And then based on that, it's going to determine which asset to use for the target.
So are we going to clear these lists at any point? I guess what I was thinking is, isn't it easier or more useful to have a single call that registers allies and neutrals? Because in that one cycle, we can then determine all 3 groups.
I don't want to do that because it is the mechanism for speaking to across the 2 different machines is one where I pass one string and an array of strings. So I don't want to, it's going to complicate the passing.
Oh, I see. Yes, right? The mechanism of actually passing 2 lists is quite complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It just gets it gets hairy and whatever. And I don't need to do it all in one. I really don't. I just, when we get a register allies call, I'm going to go to my allies, I'm going to clear that list. When we get a register neutral call, I'm going to go to my neutrals list and clear it and then fill it in.
If you register allies, then register neutrals, and that all works fine, and we have all 3 lists correct as far as I can tell. Is there not a danger that we would register allies later on, fail to register neutrals, and now somebody is in both the allies and the neutrals list?
I feel like you've had a tough day today, Rory. And I feel like you're worried about a lot of things, and I feel like this is uncharacteristic of you, and I feel like you need to just get a cup of tea. That's what I think you need to do. Did I just totally dismiss Roy? No, I don't think that's ever a problem. The reason, here's why that'll never ever happen, because these are called back to back from one place, right?
Okay.
We're always going to be okay. And ultimately, if we have bad data, we have bad data, but the bad data is ultimately coming from here, and it'll come up it'll be evident in some sort of problem, like we want to target somebody and 2 creatures get targeted. As an example.
If the rule is simple and that we always call those back to back, then effectively, albeit not mechanically, we are sending a single command that says, here are these 2 things in their entirety, and therefore you can deduce 3 lists. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That fixes that entirely.
I started reading Flav Creation's thing, and as I was reading, I was like, oh, geez, I should check to see if this is a bad thing either. Because maybe I don't want to read it. But he actually turns out to say something really complimentary. He says, it's always inspiring to watch you work on such a large project and not get lost. Yeah, I feel like I'm, sometimes I spend some time trying to find something, right? It's like, wait, when I wrote this is a project we've been writing for, I think, 3 years, right,
yeah.
Rory? We've been writing a D&D engine, and TaleSpire just kind of came out and we had access to it in the last year. So, but thank you.
For what it's worth, I'm with Flav Creations. I'm amazed that we don't get lost in this a lot more than we do.
Really?
So I think that's testament to how well Mark remembers and deals with this code. Jeez, well done.
I don't know. I feel like I'm always like this all the time. Like, where's the code? I feel like we should develop the next home Roy. It's Rory, not Roy. Maybe with a pie. Okay, agreed. I'd buy a home Roy. Okay, well, I guess your name's changing to Roy.
Yeah. Strangely, there were a lot of people at university who couldn't get that either. So yeah, I respond to both.
Real Pygon says I have 1 form, 2 controls, and a program.cs. And I get lost. Yeah, I don't know. I like, part of it's Code Rush is helping out with regards to navigation, and
that's true.
And one of the things I've done, like, look at this file. This file I have intentionally not refactored since we started, because I want to put stress on Code Rush. Because we're dogfooding that. I want to see where Code Rush gets weak as we make things bigger and harder. So and there are problems here. Visual Studio has problems with this too, performance problems with the file this big. And it's like to the point that I'm like, oh God, do I really need to start refactoring this? So, because what I really want to do is I want to go back to our devs and I want to say, okay, make it faster, make Visual Studio faster in this file.
Yeah.
They always go crazy when I ask them to make Visual Studio faster. They're like,
but you're
no.
right, Mark.
What?
You are right, Mark. The ability to explore a large code base. Forget for the moment that we wrote this code ourselves over the course of this many years. Anybody's project that runs that long is going to leave corners of it where you're just not sure quite how it works. But Code Rush does alleviate a lot of that, because the ability to dive into things, to pop back up, the combination of tab to next reference and markers alone, just those 2 things, they're like superpowers, because when you go anywhere else that doesn't have them, you're like, somebody stripped me of all my abilities.
That's true. So for navigating a large project, you're right. Those 2 are helpful. And I often use those without even mentioning them. I'm just like going bam, 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 like that. So yeah, that is part of the issue there. Real Pygon says, for someone who's just starting to learn C#, is it worth the jump to the 249? Wait, are you talking about Code Rush? Oh, Real Pygon, dude, person, Real Pygon, you get it for free just by being here. It's been a while since I've given away a free copy, so let me just figure out. True. Let me get that doing here. I have a secret button somewhere for making this all happen. Boom.
So I believe Ruropygon may be referring to the fact that there was a point in time, I'm not sure quite what the current status is, but it was $49 with effectively no support of any kind. Yeah. And the 249 was not just the latest version of Code Rush, but was also the previous classic version as well, bound up with a proper support contract as well. Yeah,
you get, like, if you're into, like, if you want to get super high quality support, then go ahead and pay for it. But you can always jump on here 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and ask me a question. I need to get another link up here. Hold on a second to get this thing right here. It is going to be, I think. That button did not work, is it? Okay, so let's try that button. Where is it? Oh wait, it's just taking a while to show up. Okay. All right. Let me just drag this off screen here. Where is my chat? There. Let's go find the real Pygon. The real Pygon, I think I got you. And I'm sending a whisper over to you with secret text. Boom. There you go. You just want a free copy. Last night, you want one too? you want? Let me know if you need one too.
Looked enthusiastic, but there was nothing specifically said. What do you reckon, Lassamat? Would this be useful to you? Yeah, I'd love to, he says. Fair enough. He, she, not sure. I've made this mistake before.
Yeah, let us know if you have a preferred gender pronoun. We'll try to be as abstract as possible unless we hear something. Excuse me. Whisper number 2. Lassamat. Got you. And here comes your secret message as well. Boom. There you go. And that's it. And then I think I'll remember to update our database with those 2 pieces at the end. I'm sure it'll all work out. Yeah, there you go. Also, if you guys are ever worried, we're moving over to VS Code. Flave Creation says, you want one, Flave Creation? You don't have one either? Come on, guys. You got to ask.
You ever feel like Oprah?
You get a car.
It's a shame they weren't here like yesterday when we were giving away brand new cars, right?
That's right.
It's a brand new car!
That was yesterday. But a lot of crackling in the background from a mic. Shoot. That's probably me. But it's not. It's sticking out in the air, so it's not really. Let me give it a little extra space, see if that makes any difference at all. Flip Creations, let me know. Oh, wait. No, that's an old message from Flip Creations. Sorry. I was just looking totally in the wrong spot. I
was wondering what you were reading there. It's like, okay. I stopped the chat somehow.
Flip Creations, did you Flip Creations say yes? Flip Creations, you know what? Just in case, I'm going to send you one. All right, there you go. So if you want it, there you go. If you're working in VS Code, look up Rush snippets.
Yes.
Can you get a link for that, Rory?
Is that bound in with Rush Nav now, or are they still 2 separate things?
2 separate things. So there's going to ultimately be just a single Rush, is what their little single be, and now they'll have everything bound together. Okay, back to the code, kids. All right.
Back to the code.
Let's get in there. All right, so we want to go back down in here. So we're going to need to create a register allies and a register neutrals. We need those 2 pieces there. So here's my TaleSpire Explorer. I've got this file over here called modding utils. Inside modding utils, I've got all of the commands registered. And by the way, I've been thinking about forcing all of these onto the UI thread.
Oh yeah.
Because they're coming in on a different thread. Some of them, like this one, it doesn't matter. With register allies, register neutrals, it won't matter. We're just going out there, putting a list out there, not a big deal. But some things where we're creating or moving or modifying creatures, if they're not coming in on the right thread, you can crash TaleSpire. Main UI thread, whatever it is. I call it the UI thread, but it's maybe not the main game thread, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of whatever would be a UI thread if we were doing other platforms. We're assuming that there's a place they'd like us to do this work in order to not collide with other things that are happening.
Right. So
just a quick question here, Mark. Lassamat's asking, just to make sure, can I use this privately only or also at work? Is it coupled to my Visual Studio subscription?
No, it's separate and it's free, and you can use it anywhere you code.
I think basically it's for you. So, for example, I run this on my laptop, on my machine at home, and on my machine at work, and there's another one kicking around somewhere. As long as you're not just taking the mick extraordinaire, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's what we're doing. You got friends who want a copy? Have them come stop by the show. That's how I'm giving them out. So. Yeah. All right. I think it's a 1-year license. I'm not sure if it goes beyond that or not. We might just work forever. Who knows? The whole point for us with CodeRush is to bring more developer awareness to our company, Developer Express. So that's the primary goal. So that's why you can get it for $49 or you can get it for free or whatever. We give it away at conferences, things like that. So just to let people, just so that people have access to it. Same thing with the VS Code extensions. Those are free as well. The cool thing is you've got a whole team of devs and 20 years of experience easily in writing dev tools, right? Working on your behalf, trying to make something really good. So that's what we're trying to, do. Okay. So we got register allies in here.
Yep.
I'm going to, I don't know, maybe duplicate that. And do that. And register allies. So now here we need a friend and enemy list, and I think I want to put that in TaleSpire.target. I do.
Okay.
So here's how I'm doing this. The organization, I've got a static partial class here called TaleSpire. Lowercase s because I don't want to collide and I want to keep things simple. I want to be able to access regular TaleSpire and my version of TaleSpire. Inside of that partial class, I've got dedicated files that focus on what things I want to modify with TaleSpire. So the code looks like this: TaleSpire.target.something, like add allies or register allies. So we'll create a new method here called register allies, like that. We're going to pass in list of strings, I think. Maybe an array of strings. Like that. And then I want to have a list of allies here. So basically new list of string, call it allies, like that. And then we're going to say that clear. And then we're going to say that add range, I think.
Yep.
And can it just directly, I'm always a little bit confused about this.
I think it can take any IEnumerable, which does include an array.
That's what I want to see here. All right, good. That's my register allies. Let's take all of this. Wouldn't it be awesome if coders was smart enough to connect the ally with the allies? See the plural version with the Y and or the singular and the plural? I don't think it is. We're going to change this to neutrals, like that. Let's see how it does. And then, okay, so then we're going to call this the neutral list.
It still saved you a bunch of time. I mean, what was that? Single as a shift enter to duplicate selection there.
And
it automatically grabbed a bunch of things that it knew effectively statistically had a high chance of being linked together.
Yeah.
And it was right.
It's not bad. Okay, cool. So there we have register allies, register neutrals. Are we calling this yet? Doesn't look like we're calling it yet. So let's go over to modding utils. So DevExpress main line of business is the component libraries, and the dev tool is just a byproduct. Yeah, that's kind of like it. That's kind of it. Basically, we're using the dev tools to essentially, like I say, gain brand awareness of DevExpress. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. So our goal is to create a super high quality product, get it into the hands of as many people as we can. Lower any barriers to getting it in your hands and using it. And then you guys remember, oh yeah, DevExpress, I need some controls, so I better go check them out. That sort of thing. Okay, so register allies, we're going to go into TaleSpire.target.register allies and pass in my arg, which I'm going to rename to args, like that. Let's register allies. Yep. Ooh, it returns a string. I'm just going to do this, return API response.get. Okay, that's register allies. Register neutrals looks like that, and now look at how fast CodeRush is for giving me that line of code. Okay, great. That's that part. Next, we need to have code that actually responds to if you're in the list or not. Okay?
Yep.
So, I think we need something like this. We need a method that says, wait. Yeah, okay, so we're going to create a method that returns a Boolean here called isAlly. And it's going to take in a string, which is going to be our world ID. It's the same thing as TaleSpire ID. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to say if allies.contains world ID. Actually, I'm not going to say if. I'm just going to basically say return that.
Yep.
Make it public. Duplicate that. Are we neutral? And then we're going to do one more is enemy, just to make everything work out. Which is we're going to return not is ally, and of world ID, and not is neutral. Oh wait, watch this.
We're not looking at the right neutral collection.
Thanks. See, Roy just saved us a hard to find bug. That's why Rory is so awesome. I think I can duplicate that, and it's not bad. See what it does for me?
That's not bad.
I just got to change that to an and. So not bad. Okay, so not an ally and not neutral. Is enemy. All right, good. Now, what I want to do really though is I want to make this. I want to deal with creature assets. I want to create an extension method that makes it easier to use these. I think. That's I think where we're headed. Add target disk. Hold on. Where's add target disk? Okay, add target disk. Here you go. I started writing code to accommodate this. That's what it looks like. But target kind. Oh no, this is really a bad time. Pudding, stop it. Pudding.add. He called pudding.add. No, Rory. He called. Why are they whistling? This is the worst. Come on, pudding. Just right on time. Okay, target kind only does enemy friendly.
Have you seen the next line of code?
Well, true. Pudding.add. Yeah, okay.
Even worse.
All right, so I need to add neutral in here. So I'm going to add neutral. Yeah, so this is some code. You know, sometimes I just say, oh, let's write some code, and I don't do anything with it. That's what happened with this. But I kind of knew where I wanted to go. All right, so enemy friendly neutral. That's target kind. So then we're going to do something like this. Duplicate that if target kind is equal to this dot neutral. Then we're going to say prefabs clone target neutral. I'm not sure if that's the one that exists. Let's switch over to TaleSpire for a second. Make sure that we've got that as a name. It will show up in my prefabs list if it's out there. There it is, target neutral, right there. In fact, if I create that we should be able to see that right out over here. There it is, right there. That's target neutral. So it's a little bit green. Can't see because it's right underneath this guy. Yeah, you gotta kind of lift up the. All right, interesting. Okay, anyway, that's target neutral by itself right there. We'll destroy that. Okay, back to our code over here. So we need an else right there. Okay, so friendly, neutral, or they're an enemy if the target kind is in there. Now, target kind we're passing in here. Drop target at flashlight. Add target disk. Not the one I'm interested in. I'm looking for this one. Okay, here we go. Add target disk to creature. Creature board asset. So, for example, I can come in here and I can say, okay, I've got a world ID. I can then go in to say, if is ally, I might keep the code here. No, better one. Last one says, I just skimmed the Dev Express site for a minute, so excuse me if the information on the website, if it's there, but does the subscription include feature requests for existing controls? Well, you can always do feature requests, but the decision on whether a feature is implemented or not is primarily based on number of votes that the feature has from our customers. It's based on that. It's based on estimated cost of implementation, magnitude of task. Mm-hmm. What else? Risk to existing code, right? You want to make sure it's a low. The lower the risk, the easier it is to implement. The more people asking for it, it's a no-brainer. It'll be implemented immediately. But if a few people are asking for it, and it may require a huge amount of refactoring or changes to our architecture, fundamental changes, and/or requires a lot of code, then it's less likely. But yeah, you can always do a feature request. You just open it. In fact, you can do a feature request without being a target, without being a customer. You can just enter a new issue on our site and say, I'm pretty sure you can, and say,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah,
devexpress.com/sc for support center, and that should take you straight there.
Yeah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to create something called what side, pass in world ID. If what side, no, I'm just going to, hold on. I'm just going to do this. And the last parameter is the target kind. Like that. So let's, whoops, world ID is going to be creature board asset.world ID. There. Okay. So what side? Declare method. And we're going to, I wonder if this has implicit casting to a string. Does it? No, it does not. Okay. All right, fine. I'm gonna take it in as an end GUID then. And then what I want to do is put this up with the other code where we had that his enemy is neutral, his ally. Go ahead and make it public too. Oh, but you know what? I am going to use this as a string. No, I'm going to make a private one that takes a GUID, and then I'm going to say return what side like that of world ID.toString. Like that. That's what I'm going to do. And then we'll declare that one and make that one public. And then we're going to do something like this. We're going to say, let's copy some of that. We're going to say, hey, if his ally, then return friendly. If his neutral, return neutral. Look at that. We've got ally to neutral and friendly to neutral. Can we get to enemy? Ha!
Look at that.
Or just say return enemy, like that. Okay. All right. Nice. So kids who don't have coders who are just going to get it, I'm using Shift-Enter to duplicate a selection. And it kind of learns from your changes what's happening. If you want to clear those changes out, well, one of the things you can do is see these little underlines. You can right-click them and choose Stop Replacing Ally with Neutral in this file if you want to, for example. Well, that's one way to change it. You can also clear the entire cache by closing the file and reopening it if you ever want to do that.
You can also pre-mark your code before duplicating to highlight specific areas that you do want to have replaced in each case, effectively creating a field in the output data.
So I can do that and then duplicate, and now those two pieces will be selected for me. Or maybe I want to change that one right there, select it and duplicate it. See what's going on? What's cool about that is that now I can change in enter my new thing, whatever that is, and then hit Shift-Enter again. Oh, come on. That's not what I was expecting to have happen. Hold on, let's double check that. I may be reporting an issue. Mark it. Oops, hold on. Mark it. Control-Alt-Enter to mark it. Duplicate it. Change it. And then if I hit enter here and then now duplicate it again, I got to hit enter first.
I think that's the key, isn't it? We have to accept the change before it's then part of what you can then shift duplicate further.
Yeah, new change, enter, shift duplicate. And I can keep doing without having a selection, and it'll just remember the last one I did. I just got to get to the end by, whatever that change is, whatever that thing is I'm going to do. Like that. Like that kind of thing. Oh, look, and then it catches the pattern. See that? Isn't that sweet?
It's good at following sequences of numbers, and they don't just have to be increment by one sequences either.
Right.
It'll also follow incrementing your enumnums, iterating through hearts, clubs, spades, if that's what you happen to have. It's really useful.
Also, it'll detect doubling, right? So if I 1, 2, 4, it'll go 8, 16, etc. Also, and it works with binary numbers, hex numbers, all of that. So it's kind of clever. Okay, so what side? I've got that now. So now we can ask what side, and that's coming down from here. What side is now being passed into add target disk, and the default is enemy, but then we're going to come down here and say, hey, are they, I don't know, I feel like we're ready to compile. What are you thinking, Rory?
It's got to be getting pretty close, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're going to pick one of those three right there. I think we're ready to compile. I'm just going to come in here and build it. To do this, I've got to shut down TaleSpire on the second machine. Got to build a couple things here. Let's build this one first. Rebuild all succeeded. Good. Next, I got to close down this app right here and rebuild this. And I think I'm going to fire it up. Normally I do this standalone, but I'm going to debug it. So we'll come over here and we're going to hit start. hopefully all that just builds. That way I can set some breakpoints, make sure things are happening the way we're expecting. Loading symbol. Okay. While we're starting up, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's out there hanging out with us. Appreciate that. Roy and I are both happy to have you here as our guests today.
Very much so. Absolutely.
Starting up TaleSpire on the second machine. That's loading up right now. On this machine, we're waiting on the still loading symbols. Got a WebSocket connection. Got my side lights on. Okay, TaleSpire starting up on the second machine. On machine number 1, we've got the browser on the stream. Those things are loading up. Okay, let's do that. And hide the scroll. Put this up over here. Switch to TaleSpire machine. Will we see it? Hit the switch button. But I don't see it. There it is. Okay, just took a second.
There we go.
It's loading. Sometimes I've seen it load. It take a while in the loading.
And what do you know? A whole bunch of people who could easily be in a cantina.
Yeah, look at that. That's why Rory gets paid the big bucks. I can't come up with stuff like that. There's no way I'm going to come up with something that clever. All right, we now want to test targeting is what we want to do. So here's our setup, and we want to turn on targeting. Okay, that's not good. Let's turn off targeting a second. Turn it off. Turn it back on again. What the? This was
Target's coming up in the origin regardless of where the flashlight is.
Yeah, it looks like I've got some bad code. Okay, that's not happy at all for me. I'm just going to move the flashlight right over so it looks like it's all working because that's what I'm testing.
It's totally working. Yeah.
All right, so now what I want to do is start targeting creatures and see if we see any color. Well, we should see blue here.
No.
You know what, though? Did I load the creatures up? Did we miss a call maybe at the beginning? The music maybe thinks our stream party is about to do something heroic, like throw a ring through a wormhole or something. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. All right, so let's set some breakpoints. I'm going to switch back over to this monitor here. We're going to set some breakpoints. I think I want to start here. And I'm going to hit the reload everything button, which goes back and just loads everything up. And I want to see if we hit this breakpoint, because we kind of need to hit this breakpoint if we reload everything. It looks like we did not hit it. Okay, so that's why.
A few things. Yeah,
that can explain a few things. Let's go. I'm going to hit the button on the stream deck for the in-game creatures that hits load the NPCs. Now we should hit it. Okay, we hit it. So now let's go through this whole thing and let's just set up a couple breakpoints here. Make sure we get some allies and neutrals in here in this expected list. We should get at least one. Wait.
Well, hang on. What kind of targeting are you doing? It's only going to be one creature, right? Isn't it the nearest one? You didn't set a sphere or anything.
Yeah, I'm doing the nearest creature is what I'm doing. But it also just occurred to me we're never, ever registering the players as allies.
Oh.
We need to add some code here, is what we need to do. We need like all players, like that, dot, what? Players? We need to iterate through these. There's also this get active. Maybe I'd do that, because I think those are who's in the game right now versus all known players, I believe. players. And then we're going to for each that. For each didn't give me, try again. Yep, definitely didn't do it. Just a quick issue right here. Kids, I'm trying to do expand for each right here. I've got this on the clipboard, active players. I'm stepping through the code and it looks like it doesn't get it. Similarly, I bet SN, is SN going to work? SN does not set it to null. So there's a clipboard issue right here. I want you guys to take a look at the log and see what's going on here. It looks like we're not able to to get the clipboard issue during edit and continue. I have a feeling this is something we've talked about before. And they're going to say, we talked about it before, there's a problem with stability of getting clipboard during edit and continue, something like that. All right, so anyway, we need a for each right here.
So for those maybe not familiar with this feature, normally what would happen here is we'd collect the variable from the clipboard, we'd deduce its type and various things like that, and basically we're going to iterate through the collection with a correctly defined type and hopefully a correctly named instance and place your caret inside the for each loop. So construct the entire thing for you and let you get on with the thing that we're going to iterate.
That's what normally would have happened right there. All right, okay, now at this point we want to say, hey, if character.TaleSpire ID, if it's not null or white space like that, then we want to say allies dot add that. Okay, so now I've got a couple breakpoints in here. We should see. I don't know if we're going to see any neutrals because I don't think we have any stuff aligned yet in there. But I think we should at least get a breakpoint down here before we get down here. So let's run it. Okay, so cool. We got an ally.
Yep.
2 allies, 3 allies, 4 allies. Okay, cool. We got some allies. Nice with TaleSpire IDs. Hey, we got a neutral.
Got a neutral.
Sweet. And now we got 7, or sorry, 8, 9, 10. So we got more here as well. Good. Now, okay, now we're calling register allies, register neutrals. Let's go switch back over and look at TaleSpire and see now if my targeting mode is still the same. But now let's see what happens if I, let's clean up. We'll turn it off. We'll turn targeting back on. Oops. That I want to fix. I want to fix that. Remind me to fix that like really fast.
Will do.
Yeah, oh, look at this. Oh, I'm starting to get a sense of the problem here. Yeah, okay, got it. It's close enough. All right, so we're gonna try this guy. I hope it's blue. Nothing?
Nothing.
What about this guy? Nothing. No. Oh.
Green, ally, okay.
No, neutral. Green is neutral.
No, sorry, neutral. So neutral is functioning. Do we have enemies?
This one showed up as an enemy.
Okay.
Why not this guy, though? Why not that guy? Or wait, maybe they're targeted. Are they just like really low? If I move them up, I might see it if it's low. I don't see it. I can do an exploration of the mini. Wait, hold on. Do I have messages here? Character asset not found. Is that coming from this? Let's see if we can...
Are you attempting to target something whose GUID is not listed in the sheet?
I don't think so. Let's see what happens if I do it now.
I mean, to be fair, Merkins should be there, so... You know.
So we got this right here. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Okay, so we're having an issue there. Can't wait to become efficient with Code Rush, doing some casual pair programming and have the other party blow their minds. Yeah, last minute, ask questions at any time, and we'll definitely give you a little lessons out here.
Yeah.
So we're in get property mod details. We're trying to modify the property.
Mark, we're looking at the TaleSpire screen.
Oh, interesting. It's because of that right there. Okay, now, there you go. So still the TaleSpire screen is what I want to look at, but we're looking at get property mod details. So we're trying to modify it, but something's got the wrong name inside of it, I think is what's happening. I think that's it. Already found a 1 hour intro on YouTube from you, Mark.
I'm heading to the list
Feature of the
right
week?
now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get a link here. This is going to be the way to go. That's where you want to be. Okay, so it must be the allies that's not working, because we're seeing enemies and we're seeing neutrals show up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In fact, if I keep going here, these are all allies. These are allies. Ally. This guy might be an enemy. No. No, that's an ally. That guy's an enemy. Yeah, that guy's an enemy. That sort of thing. So, okay, the problem is the allies one isn't working. We have two problems we have to solve. One is this ridiculous thing where if the target's not lined up. Let's go figure out that one. Let's look at that code. Switch back over. Let's look at that code. Add target disk. I think the problem is here. That's what I think it is right there. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, what do we got?
Find our way. We're going through from the drop targeted flashlight. So this is it.
Yep.
Parent is null.
Right.
I think we want to get the parent and pass it in here.
Yeah.
That's the new different thing that we want to do. We weren't doing this before, but because I changed things from using regular disks. What's on flashlight? Isn't there just a get? And that returns the flashlight. And then from there we can say transform. I think I want to do that. I think that's the fix to the first problem. I think, and I hope that'll work. Okay, and then we're trying to modify scale. Target scale. See this?
Yep.
That is, hold on, I'm going to shut down the TaleSpire on the second machine because we're going to need to do that. We're going to need to do a build, and we're going to need to start up Unity. This means what's happening is target scale is not, I'm betting that script is not part of the ally target. We need to add this script so we can modify the scale.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's it. And what's happening is the target is likely not having its scale modified, and so it's sitting inside of the base. That's my guess on what's happening here. So let's look at target friendly. We do have a target scale script on it. Let's look at target neutral. Do we have that in there? Oh, we do. So that theory is wrong. What else is going on here? That's the only modify we've got. All right, let's do a rebuild anyway. I'm gonna rebuild this just to make sure. I'm going to copy the rebuild. Look what I did, by the way. I created a text file here since the paths are both long. I created a text file called "This is Machine 2."
See, that's really sensible, isn't it? That's a sign, folks, of real intelligence, right? Because why suffer like that every time?
Right.
Otherwise, right?
That's what I've been doing. I've been going like, wait, which one is this? Oh, this is over the network. So anyway.
That's a special kind of intelligence that I've noted that my wife has that I don't. She's very practical in many things, and she finds simple solutions just like that to things that I'd spend weeks and weeks battering my head against something.
No, it's awesome.
And you know, it's a nice compliment to us.
It's a nice compliment, isn't it? Okay, so here we go. Starting up TaleSpire on machine 2. I said I was doing that. Yeah, it's starting. Okay, so that's starting up. So we don't necessarily know if if it's just at an older version, or if there's some bigger problem here. Target friendly, target neutral, target enemy. Those were the same names as what we had here. Just want to make sure that's correct. Target enemy, target friend. Target friend. Did I say friendly?
Friendly, I thought.
Okay, target friend, target neutral. Oops, hold on. Let's make sure I got all those names right. Target neutral, target enemy. That's, I think, my problem. Trying to
That's going to help.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help. All right, so let's restart TaleSpire. Let's rebuild the Explorer project. There should be something like stream dual monitor for coworkers. Wait, what?
I think you have a scene that at one point did stream both your monitors, didn't it? It's not always the most practical thing to have on screen, but...
Yeah, I do for the show I do with Campbell. I have a dual monitor screen. I don't see the button for it right here. Oh, Mark and Campbell, there it is. I don't know how bad or good this is going to be. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I have that. I can create a variation of this that actually shows TaleSpire out there. Hold on a second. Let's do a duplicate. This is actually kind of a good idea. Let's duplicate this scene. We're going to call this both machines. And not call it Kids Code, just call it Code Rush. Okay, both machines, got it. And then what I want to do is add... Oh, it's a little tricky here. It's a little bit tricky to get this right. I think I can get it. Add NDI source, existing, TaleSpire NDI. I bet that's it. Good. That's it. Let's resize it.
Ooh.
Okay. Now we kind of need to crop it a bit or do something like that. That's what's going on here is I've cropped this right here. So we kind of got to go into filters. Maybe I shouldn't be spending so much time doing this right now. I'll do it for just to invest a little bit of time in it. We'll say left be 100 and right be 100. So we'll take 200 off the left and right. Does that get us any better? Maybe I'll take a little more. We got, I actually mean dual stream. Oh, pop up half and pull out the full screen on my second monitor. Can we do that?
That's... So you're streaming two independent streams, one of each monitor?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's right. If you had that as two resources, they could almost be in two tabs or whatever, and you're right, you could put them across two entirely different locations.
Unfortunately,
that would be clever.
A better view than that right there. All right, let's start up again on TaleSpire. This is not a bad view, though. It's not a bad view. But yeah, it would be better to do it. Also, I should get rid of Campbell's machine there. We got rid of that label.
Yeah, it's clearly Fred's machine.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some potential future here. You know, at least doing a split screen like this. About that. All right. So anyway, okay, TaleSpire is loading up on the second machine. Did I rebuild this? I just see a ready here. It's a little bit worrisome to me. Let's see if we've got it. If we can find a date time that's recent here on that machine. Okay, what did I miss here? Plugins. TaleSpire.
And now we understand what you meant by cropped.
Yeah, it's not good. Let's fix that. We're going to go back to.
To be fair, it actually is quite good for whilst you're showing Studio itself, because largely you don't need the Properties window or the Solution Explorer on the left there, and you want to focus on the code. So it does make sense to do exactly what you have.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Let's reinitialize the data. Whoops, hit the wrong button. Hit the reload everything button. And that reminds me, when we reload everything, we need to kind of do this. Make sure that's called right there. Okay. We've got the left side over here in view. Let's bring up our TaleSpire targeting. First of all, turning targeting on. Are we better? Better. Okay, so that
There
thing
we
is
go.
in the right spot. Target the creature. Yeah,
That appears to have gone backwards.
Yeah, no, it seems like it, but the reason why is because we've never called this.
We don't have the data.
Yeah, I'm going to hit
Right.
the button to say load the data. We need to call the method. That's the problem. I've just loaded the data up. Let's go back over and let's clear the targets. Hold on. Let's clear the targets and then reset the target. There you go.
Hey,
There you go. Okay.
that's cool.
Sweet. Sweet. Can you see the difference on those, Rory? Can you tell
Very
those
much
colors?
so.
You can. All three are distinct?
Yeah, they're really very distinct. The only slight issue, of course, is the size of that really small one. It's kind of
Right.
it's easier to miss because the others are so big by comparison. But
Right.
that's that's a tricky thing.
You mean a second full monitor stream? We do, Real Pygon. Like
Yeah,
if a
I
coder,
believe that was the implication.
Yeah, has two monitors being able to see each as a full screen streams. Yes. Were you answering that already, Rory, when you were talking about that before? Or did that come in after you mentioned that? Did you notice that?
I cannot
Okay.
remember.
Okay, no worries. I can't speak for all, but many coding streamers, not going to add myself to that group, use their second screen for chat, moderation, non-visible browser, etc. Yeah. Well, obviously it's optional, and streamers who have more than two screens could utilize that. Yeah. All right, so that's cool right there. Let's clear all of the, let's clean up everything, all the targeting. Let's go use spherical targeting. Let's go get a 60-foot sphere in here, and let's say target everybody inside. Nice.
There we go.
That's cool, and it's super clear if we've got a friendly in the room in the firing right there. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. When you are targeting a large area, the problem is, well, normally at least, if you're targeting friendlies. So you're not worried so much about targeting bad guys. I guess it's reversed if you're using a spell of healing, perhaps.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. All right. So cool. These two weren't targeted, but I think it's because we've got these two right here weren't targeted in that space, but I think it's because we have not connected them with anything yet.
Yeah, no bind as of yet.
Yeah, this girl right here, this is Lady Tirania, and we can bind her. Whoops, hold on. Let's. I got to bring her on screen first. To bring her on screen, I need to look at my in-game creature list and see who she is. Surly Dev. Surly Dev checking in to see if Lasamat's watching football.
Hey, Surly.
Lady Tirania, right here. She's 11. So I'm going to bring her up on screen. There's Lady Tirania. She's selected. Now I'm going to switch back over to TaleSpire here so you can see it. And I'm going to go into a thing I call connecting, my connecting page. Hit my select creature button. And I'm going to come over there and I'm going to hit the connect button. Boom. And now I've connected Lady Tirania. And now I can prove that by, she wiggles every time she's selected right there. So that's what's happening there.
Yep.
Now also, if we go into targeting mode, and we go back into spherical targeting, and now I select, where's my mouse? There it is. And I select this, and I say, okay, go, everybody, she should now be selected. Oh, but you know what? Look what happened. We connected her, but we didn't call the update.
The update.
Right?
So we didn't establish that she's an ally versus an enemy.
Exactly. So we have this to test with this guy here. I think that's going to be Apollo. That's what I think that's his character's name. Or somebody we haven't hooked up yet. At any rate, we'll hook up and do the test there. So we need to do a reload. in fact, one way to fix this is to just hit the reload button, come back in, and I bet if I just hit the target again in the range, go, it'll work. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So that worked, but we should make it so that it's it works correctly. I don't think anything prevents someone from having a second stream running, a second OBS capturing a second monitor if they wanted to. True, but a lot of hassle. If Twitch OBS supported streaming multiple screens simultaneously and allowing viewers to switch with a pop-out function, that would be a good feature, not just for coding streams. Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it, Lassamant? I agree with that.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'm thinking about one of the other options, Rory, is changing the dimensions to like 256 by 1080, the streaming dimensions. Okay, so we need to do two things. Let's just a little bit of cleanup here. Let's switch back over to the code, and we need to call this guy on a load. So basically, there's like a reload everything, I think. There's a button in there. And then that calls load everything. Load everything should be called at startup. There it is. There's my startup call to load everything. And then what I want to do is, like right around the end of this, I want to make a call to tell TaleSpire who is on what side.
Nice.
Okay, so that's problem one solved. Problem two is when we get our connect occurring.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do I have something out there called connect?
See, I wonder whether it wasn't called binding.
Bind creature.
That sounds right.
I would say you don't wonder. You recall correctly that it was.
Well,
called
I
bind
recall uncertainly. As
Okay.
it turns out, luck was on my side.
creature. All right, so bind creature. Now we get down to Google Sheets, save changes. There's a validation issue here. Here's where we actually save. Hold on. Just right. Here we wiggle. Oh, this means there's no change. I started doing this thing with my son on the coding show, is if we saw, if it took me more than a second to evaluate an expression like it just did here, we introduce a local for it. And so it's easier to read the code. So
yeah, even if it's a single use, but it does, as you say, increase the readability, the understanding, the inherent knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah. Same ID already set, like that. Okay, so we'll call that. This right here is basically overriding an existing. Go ahead and introduce a local there. Existing ID is equal to that one. So if the same ID is already set, we're going to do that. Otherwise, if we're going to override an existing ID, we're going to do this. Last one says, yeah, that is about the only scenario I would watch as well. Oh, wait, my German. Wait. Oh, that's so funny. It's in response to Surly.
There's apparently some sort of football contest going on at the moment, or at least has been.
Yeah,
I'm vaguely aware, but
I save. I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't do sports, so I save a lot of money. I don't drink alcohol. I save a lot of money in not doing these. I have no friends. I save so much money.
Yeah, we've seen the amount of tech you've put around you in that room there where you are. I'm not sure you're saving all that much money.
Oh, quiet. Quiet about that. Keep that down low just in case anybody's watching the show.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. This is the one. This is the branch where we're actually writing something out. So this is where we want to make that call. To tell TaleSpire who is on what side. Okay. Boom. After the binding.
Okay.
Now we don't have a breakpoint yet, but we've got the bind creature right here. So we're gonna go in here. I'm gonna invoke the binding command on TaleSpire side of things. Here's the problem. If why don't I go to that new? I might be able to see both screens at once. Go to both screens on this. All right. Like that. So now we can see both screens at once. This is sweet. All right. So now I'm going to get, I'm going to clean up all the targeting on this. I want to bind this character right here whoever selected. There's no way they're going to... Oh, wait. Rename? It's Willie. Okay, that's Willie. I don't have a great way to bind to Willie, but let's do this instead. Let's grab a different character, because Willie's already a creature in the game. I need to just add that one. Lord Duron. Lord Duron is a guy I can bring out here. Let's bring out Lord Duron. Wow, that was really weird. Try again. Lord Duron. Okay, there we go. Got Lord Duron out there. On machine number 2, let's go grab... Let's bring up the in-game creatures sheet. Do I have a Lord Duron in here? Nope. Let's just do this. We're gonna copy all of those. Come down here. Paste it in there. I don't need these 2 pieces of information. We're going to call this Lord Duron. Like that. And then I think all I need to do is reload the data. So I'm going to load the data in. So now we got Lord Duron. I'm going to bring up Lord Duron so he's up on screen. He's up on... Now, why don't we see him here? The dragon front overlay, the dragon back overlay is not on this screen. Is that my problem? That's my problem, I think. Add...
Yeah, I don't see any of the extras.
Browser. Let me get it. Dragon back overlay. There's the dragon back overlay. Refresh that. Okay, there's Lord Duron.
There we go.
Okay, totally the wrong picture, but, you know, no biggie. I'm going to select Lord Duron there. And so select Lord Duron selected there. Now I'm going to go bring up the connection UI. Select this guy right there. And that's now Lord Duron. Now we're at the breakpoint over here. Which
Yep.
I'm going to zoom in this code here so we got a chance of reading it here. So just hit an F10. We're going to clear our breakpoint. All of this code should already go here. So just waiting on that green underline to go go away. And so we're here. We got some stuff. Good. And then we're going to run that. I'm just going to run. I think the feature's essentially done. At this point, if that's true, when we choose Lord Duron should wiggle. There you go. So Lord Duron is right there. And there's the wiggle when Lord Duron gets selected. Lord Duron is friendly, which means now if we put Lord Duron back over in this space over here, and we bring up the sphere targeting, and we say, go ahead, give me everybody in there. Lord Duron is there.
He is indeed blue.
All right, cool. Next, I have 3 buttons on here that aren't working that I want to work.
Okay.
Over here in this space. Let's go full screen. That's going to do it for me right there. All right. And on this page here, I've got enemies in volume, target only enemies, target only friendlies, target only neutrals. And what I want to have happen here is, and by the way, Rory, I notice you're quiet, and you always kind of get quiet around this time. Do you have to go, buddy? You waiting on a time?
So, upside downside, I've got a little more time today.
Okay.
But I'm not here for the rest of the week. I'm actually out of communication of any kind tomorrow. Not even going to have a laptop, a phone, anything. I'm just vanishing. And I might be able to squeeze in on Thursday, but sadly not tomorrow. But I can go another 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Another 20 minutes or so. All right.
Yeah. This is not much of an upside, I'll grant you, but yeah.
All right. Okay. Fine.
Cool story, bro.
I'm not going to be here the rest of the week. Fine. Well, I won't write good code then. And you'll see. Okay. So So now we need to do this. We basically need to support sending target filtering. And what I want this to do is, and I think I need to take like, I think I need this button here maybe, down below. And maybe both of these buttons. Does Ready actually do anything? It does. It says it sends something over. All right, so I'm gonna copy this and put that down in the sphere UI portion of it, and I'm going to do the same thing with Ready as well. And then, so what I want these to do, these are going to add. They're not going to exclusively. They won't be exclusive. So if I want to be exclusive, I need to hit clean up and then one of these three buttons. But what's cool is now I could do enemies and friendlies, or enemies and neutrals, or friendlies and neutrals, that sort of thing. So that's what I want. They're going to be additive is what they're going to be. So all neutrals in volume, all enemies in volume, that sort of thing. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so let's write that code. Are we going to do it? The question is, I really hate the green underlines that happen as we're making changes. I could open this up in the second instance. Let's see how well Visual Studio handles that. I'm going to open a second instance of Visual Studio, reloading the exact same project, so I can make changes without the green underlines that normally come up because of edit and continue. That basically say, hey, sorry, you can't do this.
Well, edit in one, run in the other.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. We'll try that and see how that works. Okay, so there's the target command is what we're looking for. I think I should probably start out, whoa, CodeRush hasn't loaded yet. Only downside is we're waiting for CodeRush to load. So CodeRush, in order to keep Visual Studio loading up quickly, kind of loads in the background.
Yeah.
And with a large project, it may take a little bit of time before CodeRush comes in. There it is, just kicked in. Okay, now I can hit the keys to start jumping to symbols, things like that. By the way, is the Unity Kids Code thing done? Last time I checked, they built some kind of Bitcoin visualizer. Yeah, so we are not doing Unity in Kids Code. We're still doing Kids Code, but we are working on visualizing. We're in C# and WPF right now. And so basically what my son Campbell wants to do is wants to create a trading bot that will trade his allowance for Bitcoins or whatever, and hopefully try to trade them in a way that's somewhat intelligent that makes some money. So that's what he's going to try to do. I was talking to him about taxes the other day, and he's like, wait, I have to pay taxes? And I'm like, yeah, and because it's short-term capital gains tax, it can get up to about 40%. So you want to basically, as a rule of thumb, set aside every time you make a trade where you make money, set aside half of that to pay your taxes on it. This is in the United States.
Have you spoken to him about rental of equipment used to generate funds and where he's going to need to be paying his, claiming a share of his earnings there?
Rental of equipment? You mean?
Yeah.
You mean
I'm assuming he's renting the computer from you,
yeah,
and then maybe there's a.
It's part of his privilege. It's part.
Okay.
I figured it wouldn't be right if I didn't give him the white privilege that he deserved. So.
Oh, dear.
No, I'm sorry. That was wrong for me to say that. I didn't mean that. I meant rich guy privilege. No,
I didn't mean that's so much better.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not. Roy, can you help me? I'm so glad you didn't leave. Tell him what I meant to say.
This is all Mark, just for the record.
Oh no, it's bad if Roy can't say what Mark meant to say. If instead he said Mark said that. So anyway, no, that's no. I'm not charging him for him. Is what I meant to say. Okay, but it is part of his privilege, and it is it is something we talk about, right? It is. It's not like we're like that it's not mentioned or discussed. So it is something there that he is enjoying the benefits of right now. So, but later, this is actually kind of interesting because all of my kids, so I've got 7 kids, and every single one of my kids, I told them from the beginning, I said, I will not pay for your college. If you want to go to college, you will pay for it yourself for a number of reasons. One is it's incredibly expensive in the United States, overpriced, right? Colleges have coffers of, billions of dollars of cash. We won't see Mark next week on the stream. He'll be replaced by a younger version of himself. Yeah, that might be true. That would be cool. And then the other thing? Half the people in college get a job that has nothing to do with their major, right?
Complete.
It's to a large degree, colleges are also kind of a privilege. They're kind of in the United States, at least, they're wrapped up in this systemic racism. To gain entry into a college, many colleges, I think they're discontinuing this now, but up until like about a year or two ago, if you were a descendant of someone who went to that college, you had preferential treatment, advantage of getting in, which is systemic racism, because in the past, people of color were not allowed into many of these colleges, right? So
you're automatically bolstering the descendants of the historic members, which was inherently racist to start with, and therefore it's a continuation of that logic.
Exactly, it just continues. Yeah, when you start looking
grandfathered in, so to speak.
Yeah, when you start looking at if you start looking at the statistics, the proof of systemic racism is rampant. You see it everywhere when you start looking at statistics in the United States. And then the other component to it is that I think that in general, a trade school, something that's shorter, like 2 years, and focused, intense, without requirements of, you have to learn things outside, right? Because this is the thing that colleges do, is they say, well, you also have to take these required courses. It's kind of a money-making scheme to some degree, right? If I'm going to be major in the arts, I have to also take science courses, right? Or whatever, vice versa, humanities, if I want to be a tech person. So I actually think that a focused technical degree or technical certificate or whatever, technical training is better. So flat out, I'm generally, like, my position on colleges is going, like that. And so I tell the kids, if you want to go, you got to pay. So I've got one kid who's paid her way through, out of what, 5. I've got another one who's working to get her way in, which is not bad. The other thing too is, Rory, I think that if you are paying for your classes, you don't blow those classes off.
I agree.
You know what I
mean? I think if you've got skin in the game, right, then you're going to put more effort in.
Yeah.
It means more to you, not just in what you get, but in the effort you put in to get it. And afterwards, it's that much more meaningful to you as well.
I agree with you, who was agreeing with me. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Pygon says, my wife's friend had to pay her way through college because her parents weren't willing. She was floored when her parents gave her the money they would have paid at graduation because it was intended as a life lesson. That's actually pretty cool.
Awesome approach.
Yeah, no, I like that.
If it's possible
I love
to do,
that.
That's great. Yeah.
Oh, you good. You paid your way through. You got your college debt. Oh, guess what? We're going to pay off your debt. Shh, don't tell the kids that. But that is absolutely, like, I would be way more willing to go after that situation. Does that make sense? Than anything else. But what's really love about my son, who's trying to do this, he's saved up. His allowance, he has never bought anything. He has about $1,000 that he has saved up in his allowance, and he's getting like $3 every week or something like that. He used to get like $2 or less, but this is for doing chores around the house and things like that. So he saved that up. And there's also interest. If he keeps it in and doesn't do anything, there's interest that he gets. So he's got a pretty favorable interest rate. But he's going to take, his intention appears to be to take that, put it in using our trading bot that we're building, and we're going to use like a simple kind of trade indicators, which is basically you look at small moving averages versus long moving averages, and when those curves cross, it's a buy or sell indicator. So he's going to basically, the intention is to look at that, create a trading bot, first test it, and if it looks like it's going to make money, put his actual money in it. What's remarkable about this whole thing is there's actually a path that I can see where he could actually get all the money he needs for college, which I think he wants to go to because he's kind of a smart kid, by the time he's like 11, right?
That would be so cool.
It's kind of cool because I would be like...
No two ways about it. That's impressive.
I would be like, okay, good job. Also, putting that on your application letter, a lot of colleges would be saying,
so good.
Yeah, a lot of colleges would say like, okay. Yeah, he also, I don't know if I told you this or not, Roy. Yeah, this guy, when the girls went to Boston, Campbell stayed here with me, and he, out of nowhere, just decided, I'm going to finish 7th grade math this week. I'm going to do it, start it, and finish it this week. And he was working like 5 hours a day, and they were not entirely happy days. right? There were times where he was crying
No.
because he was trying to get through a test and he got one wrong, and Khan Academy sets him back to the beginning. Right? And he's got to
That's
the
a harsh
beginning
lesson.
of the test. So it's like 20 questions. He's done 19 and he gets the 19th one wrong, and he's in tears. And I said, look, you can't be in tears. I'm giving him strategies for dealing with setbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You've got to, look at it this way. You've got to step away. You've got to, take a break. You've got to, all of these things. So anyway, it's that kid. So yeah, that kid, if he wanted to, could actually, I think, be really happy in an academic setting.
That'd be good.
All right, we've got these changes made. I think I need to rebuild. Have I talked through all your time, Roy? Your available time?
Very close, but
Very close.
not
Okay, you still
quite.
got a few. Okay, good. I don't want to try to get you out. I don't want you to be stressed over there waiting for me to stop talking.
No,
You know
we're
what I'm
good.
talking
Don't worry.
We got to give you some sort of remote control option, maybe a Fred wave or something like that, so you can send me a signal if I'm blabbing.
Incremental stuff. So Fred gives a little wave, nothing happening.
Yeah.
Fred gives 2 hands wave. Fred starts jumping up and down and jumping in front of you,
Yeah.
eventually escalating.
All right. Okay. So we made the changes there. I think we can restart. So I'm going to shut down the main window app right there. Do I need to shut down TaleSpire? I don't think I need to do that. I think we can have that all working. Fred threatening to blow up the screen. Yeah, something like that.
Escalating Fred. There you go.
Okay, so now we'll start up again. I just hit the start button, which is behind Lord Duron. Let's bring up the player data. I want to find out what Willie's world ID is. And I can do that. Over here, I'll pick him up and move him. And there's Willie's world ID. Hold on, let me grab that, copy it to the clipboard, come up and put it there. Looks like I'm missing some other stuff that might be interesting later. Video anchor horizontal, yeah, those are important pieces for later, but that's at least good for now. Okay, and then I don't remember what we're doing here. I guess the first thing we're doing is, now that we've loaded up, we're going to go do on TaleSpire machine, we're going to do a spherical selection, and we're going to do, we're going to say target all, and we're hoping to see a variety of colors. That indicates, there you go. So that indicates that
Okay, Mark, so we're not actually looking at the TaleSpire machine?
I hit the button, but it didn't switch.
Okay.
Is it because I'm on the wrong? Yeah, it's because I was on the wrong scene. Okay, so there it is right there.
Certainly a lot of allies that have been highlighted. That's good.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm looking at the, trying to figure out why this is off. I'm just noticing that the TaleSpire is up and to the side here, but I'm not going to worry about it because I have to go to a different machine. So it's not bad. We'll do it for now and I'll fix it later. Okay, so that bug is fixed, and I forget what the second one is, but I'm going to just trust that it's all okay. I was in the process of adding buttons for all enemies in volume and friendlies in volume. That's what I didn't do. So that's what I'm going to work on now.
Okay, well, as you switch over to that task, I think probably now is a good time for me to depart.
All right, buddy.
Unfortunately, as I say, I'm not available tomorrow. I might be here Thursday. We'll see where I'm physically at the time, so maybe. In any case, I wish you well with tomorrow, and we'll see you at the very least next Tuesday.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, bud. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
All right, kids, I'm going to just take a real quick break, and then we'll be right back, probably in about 1 minute. All right, kids, we're back on our own. Okay. So let's see if we can make that work here. So target all in volume is here. I'm trying to figure this out right here. Target all in volume, just to orient myself on this. All in volume comes in here. Okay. I see. Okay. So I think what happens is this, as I recall, is when I have the sphere, the dome, can CodeRush create constructor with private field setup? It can, yeah. And just to be clear, the show's called CodeRush with an ED, but the product is called CodeRush without the ED. Let me show you how that's done. So it goes like this. So we're going to come down here. I'm going to create a new class. Whoops, let's get up here inside the namespace. So C space gives me the new class. And then let's create some fields here. A couple ways to do it. You might have it like this. You might say new my class, and you might want to say something like Mark and what else can we say about me? Maybe years experience, something like that. So you can come in here like this, and you can say, oh, well, you can use, oh yeah, this is gonna, because of this file so big, it's gonna do more. So you can do this, like this is Visual Studio right here. This is CodeRush here, and CodeRush generally takes away things that Visual Studio already offers. So you can do that kind of thing, which is, I think, part of what you're looking for. Let me do this. Let me get to a new, let me get out of here so we're not looking at all these underlines. Hold on. Starting with a new instance of Visual Studio, create a new project. Class other. Okay. Okay, so a couple of ways of doing it. I can come in here and I can say create a method, and I can be like new my class, and like that, and then we can say okay. A couple things we can do. We can declare a new instance of it. We can declare a class. That. Well, interesting. It did not do the piece in there because that's what we got to use this for. Okay, so there's Visual Studio's pieces here and here, right? Which will do that kind of a thing, which is I think similar to what you want. But what happens if you you don't have that? Let's call this name. Let's call the second one ID. Okay, so let's say you're here. If you're here, you can use a template called CC. And then you can toggle which one of the fields you want to initialize. And you can just take all of them like that. Does that make sense? So I think that may be what you're looking for, right? Where I can very quickly just create a constructor. Just CC is the piece you want to do. If I had a new field in here, that. I can come down here and just type in CC again, and now select them all, or maybe just birth date or whatever I want, right? And it'll just generate again, link everything up. One way to do it, okay? Another way to do it is, let's say you just come over here and you type in, like, say, VDE, like that, for variable of type decimal. Nice. Yeah, I've been looking for the CC thing. Can I also change the default names to match the project naming conventions? Yeah, I think you can. Let's see if we can find that for you. Naming conventions. So this, I'm not actually familiar with this page. I'm looking at this page and I'm thinking this may be something that we're working on. I don't recognize this. Hold on. Prefix, instance non-private fields. Yeah, I have a feeling this is in development, is what I think is going on here. Okay, so definitely not there. Yeah, I think that the naming conventions may be tricky. You may have to ask support for that, or I may have to research that and get back to you. I'm going to put a note on this, last and Matt, to become a little more expert on the naming conventions. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in this version or not. It's kind of where I'm getting to now. There's format style related things, so lots of style options for generating code. A lot of those things. Yeah, I think this is in development. This is the naming conventions piece. Let's see if I can verify that actually. What do we got? Nope, it is not in development. Interesting. Okay, so I know this is used for code analysis, but I'm not sure style when you run code reactions, code writers, and coded templates. Yeah, so it looks like it does work, is the answer to the question. So the only thing I'm not, the thing I noticed, I think I want to report an issue on the naming conventions piece here. Let's see how we can get this to work here. Instance non-private fields. Instance private fields. So I have an additional rule here that says it's prefixed with an underscore. This is the option to use it in code analysis right here. Okay, so let's just see. I don't think that what I'm confused by, let's see what happens. If I come in here and I say, like a VB for a Boolean field, yeah, I'm not getting an underscore here in the default name. Let's declare it. Let's do this. Call this savings or something like that. Let's use a feature here. Declare field with initializer. Yeah, doesn't have an underscore in front of it. So what is the naming convention they're used for is now the question. Or is it working or not working? Instance private fields. Looks like it should indicate that. Capitalization, Pascal pace, prefix. I'm going to report an issue. We'll see what comes of this. Oops. All right, devs. I'm over here in my C# naming conventions. Instance private fields. I've got a rule that says make the prefix an underscore, no suffix. Capitalization is Pascal case. Okay, that's my rule. I don't understand what's going on with my main rule here. Does that mean that takes priority? Can I get rid of the main rule? What happens if I type that same piece in here? Position, fine, we'll do camel case. Separator options. Interesting, main rule changed from additional rules. Is that going to make a change now when I now declare like a new piece? Oh, it did. Interesting. So it looks like the issue here is in, just from a usability standpoint and clarity standpoint, is the main rule, the edit button, does that go to this or does that go down in here? And which one applies? That's the other question right here. What is the purpose of the additional rules? Static code analysis uses additional rules. I see. So what we really need to do is change this for static analysis in parens. All right, I'm going to make a note for myself here on that. Additional rules. For static analysis. Okay, so that is so not a great answer, like not a super informed answer less than that, because this is all new to me right here. This is dialogue I've not used before, but that looks like that's how you're going to work your way through it right there. Let me get rid of that, go back to camel case. If I want, that's it. We can get rid of that additional rule, we don't need that. I see. Additional rules just so that code analysis doesn't get concerned. Cool. Got it. All right, cool. There's also question fully answered. All right, cool. So much appreciated. Yeah, you're totally welcome. And you have this, by the way, on any method, right? Any method. So if I create a new method, like, whatever, new method, do something like that, and I have a parameter in here, and let's say we're going to call this like our or cache element ID, like that, I can be here, hit the code rush key, and choose declare field with initializer, like that. And it'll just create a field for me right there and add the assignment code in the method for me. Right, super useful, no matter where you are, to use that one. So, also something useful. Okay. All right, want to get back to where I was. Did I drop a marker? I think I did. Target all in volume. So here we go. Target all in volume. I want to then send it one additional parameter. I think it's target kind. Dot. Nope, it's not target kind. It actually might be target kind, but it might be in another namespace. Yeah. It's that. So it's TaleSpire core.targetKind dot, and then we'll do enemy friendly neutral. We'll do that. Which means we need to go into target kind and we need to maybe do something like this. Like that. Something like that in target kind. Let's close down the app. So we just get rid of all of these. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. Let's cancel that a second. I want to do this instead. I want to do an add parameter here. Okay. Add parameters are great refactoring to very quickly get that piece you need out there. Like that parameter you need out there. Okay. So now I want to do this. I want to say if it's not null, and then I want to right here see if the creature, do we have is ally? Down in creature, I don't have any sense of it's got an ally or not. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna keep pushing this parameter down. Is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna have it as a parameter here for get creature from TaleSpire ID. I'm gonna add that parameter, pass it in like that. Wait, how am I using this a lot? Hold on. Let's do this. Like I need to use a using statement here. Is that true? TaleSpire core, sorry. TaleSpire core. Okay, target kind. Yeah, I can't do this. I can't. It doesn't make sense to do this. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to create an. I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to create an enum called what side. I'm going to put it down in the core, D&D core down here. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to pretty much just copy all of this across. So I'm going to have two enums because I've got two different projects. I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to stress about it. Okay. Let's put this over here. Two enums that essentially do the exact same thing, but that's all going to be okay. All right, so back to main window. All right, better. It's feeling better already. Okay, that's where I want to use it. I don't care about it there. What side dot all? Don't care about that. Target on volume, I care about it here. That's what I care about. Okay, so it's got to match the side is what it's got to match. All right, so back inside here now, I want to pass this down in here. Get TaleSpire, get by TaleSpire ID. Yeah, I need to pass in what side down here as well. Drill down into that. Creature side matches, I guess. All right, all of this work I imagine down here we've got as out. There we go, as ally. All right, so if what side is equal to what side dot all, then we're going to say return true. Otherwise, if what side is equal to what side dot enemy, friendly, then we're going to say return is ally. What side is equal to enemy, then we're going to say return is enemy. What's going on? Fred says I miss Roy already. And then, so for friendly, enemy. So at this point, neutral, we need to return not is ally. How can you miss Roy with this awesome dance music? I'm dancing and coding. Seriously, who does this? Who does this? All right. Return not an ally and not an enemy. That means we're neutral. Testing neutral. You can't just make me dance. Last Matt says, totally off topic, but what do you think about Entity Framework Core? Missed that earlier, Last Matt. Apologies for that. I don't have any... What? I don't have any comments on Entity Framework other than my good friend Julie Lerman has a course over at Pluralsight that she's done with my other good friend Steve Smith, And those kids are both brilliant, smart folks. So I highly recommend you take that out, take a look at that over there if that's interesting to you. Julie Lerman is a big fan of it, is my understanding. And so if she's a big fan of it, then I am too. It's Marky's favorite anyway, Party 3. Haven't seen that one yet. Party 3? Yeah, it's fun. Okay, side matches. So now we've got this side matches check here. And I think that's going to work. Get by TaleSpire ID. So now if we kind of follow this out, now we also have a secondary piece here, get from TaleSpire ID. So now what we want to do here is say, look, if what side is equal to what side dot neutral, or what side is equal to what side dot enemy, that's not a player, so we're going to say return null. Otherwise, it's going to be all or friendlies, in which case we're going to go grab all of these guys. Okay? All right. So I think that's going to work. Cross your fingers, kids. And target all in volume. We're down to here. So targeting command is all in volume. Then we're going to do the next one, which is all enemies in volume. That, and we're going to keep this target all in volume. And we're going to change this to what is it, enemy? Like that. Let's duplicate that. Look at Coder's smart duplication right there. Before we were suggesting other things, and after it saw the changes, it was like, okay, well now it looks like you're just changing these two parts right here. So this next one is what? All friendlies in volume? Yeah, all friendlies. So all friendlies, and then down here we're going to change this to friendly, like that. Duplicate again. And this next one's going to be neutrals, right? Look, it got this one right down there for me. Sweet. Neutrals in volume, like that. Okay. Last one says, I've seen that course on Pluralsight during their free month. It was awesome, but I keep hearing not to use the F core without proper explanations as to why. I have no information on that. Hold on a second. Do I have... I don't think I have Julie Lerman on Skype. Oh, maybe I do. Since I've chatted with her over a year ago. Let's see if she's online. Send that over to her. I just sent her a Skype message. See if she responds back. Let her know I'm streaming live and I have an Entity Framework question from a listener. That'd be cool if she was there and she was like, Mark, let me give you a call and we'll give you an audible answer. That'd be like the coolest thing. I'm going to reach out to her on Twitter and see if she's out there. See if I can DM her on Twitter. Julie Lerman. Sending her, Julie, are you there? We'll see what happens. I reached out to her in 2 different ways. We'll see what happens. It would be cool if she's able to come on and explain this whole thing, because I'm sure she would love to if she had a second. Okay, so we got all friendlies in volume, all neutrals in volume, all enemies in volume. I think there's a chance this is going to work. And I don't think we need to make any updates to any of the code down below. It seems like we make the decisions on who's targeted, and then we go back and individually send the commands out, if I'm understanding the code correctly, that I happen to write. Just a couple weeks ago. What are the chances that I see her Pluralsight course and you know her? I don't know. No, I love Julie Lerman. She's great. She's smart, brilliant. If she's speaking, I'm listening. That's what I do. Yeah, I don't think doesn't look like she's seen yet. Okay. All right, we're up and running. Going to switch over to the TaleSpire machine. And I'm going to try doing target. I'm going to try hitting the different target buttons. So I'm going to start with only hitting enemies in the volume. Ooh, it looks like it's working. Friendlies only. Nice. And now only neutrals. Wait, no. So wait, isn't that guy a neutral? That guy's a neutral. That's weird. That's not working. Only enemies. Oh, you know what's happening? We're clearing all the targets. So two things are going a little bit differently. So right now they're exclusive. And I kind of said I didn't want that. Neutrals. Neutrals is not working. Let's see if we get a breakpoint. Setting a breakpoint in the code. There's my breakpoint. Let's hide my scroll. Let's, over on TaleSpire, I'm going to hit neutrals again. We're not hitting the breakpoint. All neutrals in volume. Did I get this wrong? Looks correct. What's wrong? Yeah. TaleSpire target all neutrals in volume. I set breakpoint right there. And now hit the button. Doesn't even get here. So are we going to get here? We get here. Oh. This, I think, is my problem. Okay, I think that's my problem. There we go. Okay. And now if we switch back over to the TaleSpire machine, there you can see it's working. Okay, but it is clearing all of them off. I kind of want it not to clear them. Can I do it? Maybe I can't do that. Because part of the thing I need to do is I need to get rid of everything outside of that. And so what happens is we invoke this command, and this command in the response gives us back everybody in the list, is what it does. Sorry, hold on. I realized I was on the wrong machine here. Go back, show you what I'm talking about. We invoke this command right here. The targeting command gets invoked there. Oop, I think I get Julie's out there. Let her know I got a question from a viewer on the live stream. Talked up your course, but I'm still live. If you want to call in, the Skype audio. Live with me and answer the question. All right, let's see what she says. She says, what's the cue? Let's see. Let's scroll back up here. Scrolling. Did I miss it? Did I miss it? She says coming, so please give me a call. Keep hearing not to use EF core without proper explanations as to why. Got it. Okay, so that may not be the best question, but I think she can give you general questions about it. Oops, looks like I'm talking on the wrong thing. All right.
Oh man, I've looked better. Wait, can't hear you. Hello? Okay. Well, I can't hear Mark. I don't know who can hear me. Skype says my audio is sending to you. The microphone. Oh, that's your. Wait, that's yours. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I hear like weird sounds in the background. All right, what the heck am I seeing over in the corner there? Like somebody with a blue weird head? Yeah, over there. Yeah, except I can't hear your response. Duh. What's going? Okay, I'm looking around on the Skype screen. Like it says my mic is working, right? Because you can hear me. And I can hear some weird sounds. Headset? Oh, I guess I could plug that in and see. Wait, no, because it's the MacBook. Just too quickly. It's more than just a beautiful blue guy. Skype audio test. I'm looking. Audio and video settings. Camera. Microphone. Speakers, test audio. Yeah, I hear ding, 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 ding. Unmute for incoming calls. Okay, stop testing. I don't know. I'm in the middle of installing an SSD drive in my big computer, so I'm just like bopping in here on my MacBook. Anyway, well, you can hear me. I can't hear you, but I saw the question. Viewer asked, I keep hearing not to use EF, but without proper exclamations as to why. Explanations. Well, then nobody can give you a good answer why not to use it. Then I would just ignore that. I know that's kind of glib answer. Back in the day when Entity Framework first started, there were lots of reasons not to use Entity Framework. But these days with EF Core, and great performance, and it does all kinds of stuff, it's so many capabilities. I think you should definitely give a look at it. And the cool thing is you can let Entity Framework Core construct your SQL for you by default, and look and check performance and see what it does. But you don't have to rely on that. It's probably going to be spot on for everything you need, 80% of the time, maybe even more. But there are times when maybe you could write much better SQL than it's coming up with, right? So use a stored procedure, use raw SQL features. It's got all kinds of capabilities for raw SQL and doing what you want. Using it knows how to map to views. It can do all kinds of those things. So and performance has been getting better and better. Performance is pretty good with EF Core 5. EF Core 6, they have been hammering on performance, and they're their benchmark is Dapper, and they're really they're pretty much there now. And Dapper doesn't do all that extra stuff that Entity Framework has to do to figure things out, because Dapper, you're just sending it SQL anyway.
Julie, thanks so much. I think my mic was muted. It was my fault the whole time. I muted myself just as I was answering the call, I think, and so that's...
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, anyway, so blah, blah, blah. I really, if somebody says, do this or don't do that, but they don't tell you any, they don't give you any facts, I think that's pretty suspect advice. It doesn't mean it's bad advice, but, you definitely want to find out where that's coming from. There's still so many people who tried Entity Framework back in 2008 and got a bad taste from it, which, is not an unreasonable thing. And they haven't looked at it since, and they've just been spouting that opinion without looking to see what's been going on since then.
Yeah, the viewer last minute saying, so it's basically old people saying, quote, don't use it because it was bad in my time.
Right. Well, I'm old. It was bad in my time at some point, but it's gotten better, and I've moved along with it.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling. I tell my wife the same thing. You got to stay with me, honey. I've gotten better.
That's right, ripe with age.
Look at me. I was a dork back then, but now I'm sweet. I'm a good guy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome, Julie. Thank you so much for jumping in there. My apologies for being a fool with the mute button. It was all my fault. But thank you so much. It was an awesome answer. Lasamats gives you a happy face. He says, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, Julie, have a good luck with your hard disk.
Thank you. Right. Have a great day, everybody. And night, wherever you are.
All right.
All right. Bye.
I'm at my peak age. All right, so good. So now everything's working except for from the original spec. I'm either going to compromise because I'm realizing, it's a lot harder to do what I wanted to do. So I've only got allies. Yeah, am I really going to do that? Am I going to compromise on this? That's what I got to figure out, right? So the question is, the button's enemies only. Whoops, hold on. Switch over to TaleSpire. There we go, got it. Yeah, so only enemies, friendlies only. I could do that and then switch to this kind of target toggle mode. Ooh, that looked like a crash. All right. Let's get back over here. See if we can figure out that crash. Actually, let's switch back. Here's the crash log. That's it? I thought there was like a player.log. Yeah, where's that? Oh, it's not here. It's stored. Excuse me, I think it's in here. No items. What the heck are the users? No items. I don't believe that's true. What kind of pudding are you? The all is possible kind? Today, Lord Mark learned how to unmute himself. Leave me alone. Be nice to me. I hate it when that happens. Yeah, the big clue was last match, like I can hear Julie, but I can't hear Mark. See, it was in there. Windows said it wasn't there, but it is. I just had to go inside the hidden directory. All right, now I would just like to, can I sort? Can I sort by date modified? And now I don't know which is on the top. Oh, here we go. All right, so that's looking pretty good right there. It's a crash jump. Sweet. So I'm changing the scale. Then I got this is on, which I think is the flashlight piece. And that's where we got the crash. All right, let's go look for is on. We call flashlight get. Yeah. I suspect the crash is here. Yeah, somewhere in the space. So is on is only called seemingly from here, from off. Off is only called from off in target. It's called from multiple places in target. Yeah. So here's what I think I want to do. I think the problem is coming from, we're coming in on a different stack. I mean, a different thread is what I think the problem is. I think what I want to do is go over to modding utils, and I want to, I think I've got something in here called execute. The main thread, here we go. This. So, I think I want any of these commands that come in. I want any of these to be essentially thread safe is what I want. That's what I think I want. Which means it's coming right in this space here. when we call invoke. I think I want to do it like that. So just any execute command call at all gets in there, which means now any other use of this inside this space, inside modding utils, it's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't need it. Yeah. So this whole idea of drop target safe, this whole thing, we just moved it into another place so that it could execute on its own main thread. Make sure there's not another one of these, right? It's only here and here. Okay. All right. So we can get rid of that. Set active turn. We don't need it here. What is this? Show damage, TaleSpire minis, don't need it. There. Right, damage is coming in. Also coming in, yeah, from the same spot. Mortality checker, timer lapse, do need it here. I think we don't need it here. Create called from. Composite effect, composite effect, node effects factory, that's it. Node effects builder, that's registered. Yeah, so composite effect create, that's going to be called from creator find unsafe. Yeah, and this one we said we just, it's here in the form. It's in the form explorer, effect editor, and then down here, this create call. Which is in turn called from composite effects. I feel like I'm in a big loop here. Create known effect. I think it's okay. I feel like there's a shot that this is okay. Let's go to TaleSpire machine. Is TaleSpire running? It's not. Let's do a rebuild of this. Rebuild all succeeded, starting up TaleSpire. We'll see how we're doing. All right, so we're going to try and crash it just by hitting a whole bunch of buttons. See if we're protected. Try to do the same steps we did before. All right, targeting sphere 60 feet. I hit it. I didn't see anything. If I crashed, it seriously crashed? What's going on? It wasn't entirely loaded. I think it's locked. I think it's locked because we've got 2 of these in a row. Let's switch back over. Hit the button to switch back over, but it's not switching over. There we go. Looks like we just did it. Okay. So I think the problem is in that second unsafe call. And I think it's trying to force it over into the thread when it's already there, and it's I think that's my problem. This right here. I'm suspecting this is my problem. I want to change this to, I'm going to use unsafe instead. So safe is basically says force to the UI thread is what it, or force to the main thread. Let's just look at this. Who's calling this guy? Now this is called from a form, 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 form. TaleSpire targeting. There. Why didn't I find that before? I didn't search for that. I want that to be unsafe. Yeah, that I think is problematic right there. All right, this error is going to keep coming up here. Okay, let's do that, I guess, for now. Let's get this. Yeah, so we've seen this problem where Visual Studio gets this exception. We're nowhere in the call stack at all, but I'll report it nonetheless. I keep reporting it to our devs and they keep saying it's not us. But it's something that I've been seeing. Let's do that for now. Okay, that selection. So creator find unsafe. Creator find safe. So let's see. Just want to restrict it only to the forms. Yeah, okay, so I think that might be better. Let's try that. We'll try rebuild there. See if we can actually get it to create the object. Okay, rebuild succeeded. TaleSpire is loading up. I'm going to do this too. I'm going to right click that, drag it down there, pin to File Explorer. There it is, sweet. Last Matt subscribed. Thanks for that subscription, Last Matt. All right, let's see what we got. Let's start hitting some buttons. Targeting is on. Okay, that works. Targeting is off. Let's go set up a sphere, 60-foot sphere. That looks like that's working. Let's get all enemies in that group. Okay. All enemies, there we go. Oh wow, we lost this one. Maybe I just didn't have it included. Let's try again. Enemies. There we go. Okay. There it is. Friendlies. Friendlies, but wrong. Neutrals. What's happening there? I'm really confused because it looks like it's close to the issue we saw before. I hit the load button to reload the data. Is it like the load's not? Oh, I know why, because we didn't restart over here, I think. I think that might have been the problem. We didn't restart, so when we started, it sent the data over to TaleSpire to say, here's the list of neutrals, the list of enemies, list of friendlies. But, hold on a second here. Okay, and we just restarted TaleSpire, but we did not restart the main app, so the main app thought it had already sent the data over. Okay. So that's now working like I'm expecting it to. Cool. All right, I think we're at a good stopping point. That's what I think. It's not bad. It's functioning. It's closer to what I wanted. It's definitely better. Like if I've got a healing spell now and I'm going to say I want to heal everybody within this range, I can say, okay, let's go find the range. Is it a 30-foot sphere? Let me hit this a bunch of times to make sure all of this is working. Generally, this is how I find threading issues. I just hit it a bunch of times to make sure there's no crash. All right, so that's good. Let's get all the friends in that space. And so now we can heal all of these people. So it's very cool to be able to grab everybody, target them. You can see their friendlies, that sort of thing. It's useful. Nice. Okay. Good. I'm going to call it a good stopping point. We'll see you tomorrow. Roy said he's not going to be with us tomorrow. He might be with us on Thursday, he said. Thanks so much, everybody. Let's get a raid going. I'll send you over to Obother. Obother's always working on cool hardware stuff. Everybody have a good day. Thanks for your help, for joining us. Last Matt, let me know if you have any questions on Code Rush. We'll talk to you kids later.